You are about to watch a Peter Gregg video. Something warm, human, and wonderful happens when you watch Peter Gregg.
How about that? Yes. It pulled out. I didn't have this thing screwed in. Such is life. I never unscrewed it. I guess over time it unscrews. So I guess we'll start all over since you didn't hear a single cotton picking word I said. Hi! It's Friday night. And I was saying a little while ago that, okay, it plugs in and then it screws on down so that it locks into position, okay? So obviously, over the course of time, it has unscrewed. So much for the safety screw. And nothing, you just never know what's going to go wrong in a live stream. If I was professional at this, it would probably go a lot better. So I'm just putting the wire back where it belongs. I don't want it to hang all over me all night long. So let me double check and make sure I did put in the new batteries in here so we don't have a repeat of this. Yes, the new batteries are in here, and there we go. Alrighty. I'm putting the wire where it belongs. Well, this is live television. This is what happens when you get in front of a camera and you push a button and it goes live to the entire world. Things mess up, okay? And sometimes it's things that you don't expect. Like I already put new batteries in. I already checked all the cameras are on. The only camera I didn't check was the ZV-1. But the little screw-in that holds the mic in place, I guess over the last year and a half, how long have I been live streaming now? I started in February of 2020, and so February would be 1 year. So February, March, April. So a year and 2 months. So I guess during the course of that year, that little nut that ties that microphone down got loose. So here we are. ready to start the show over. Welcome, everybody. It's Friday night. Didn't we say we were going to meet together someplace next Friday night? Well, here's the place. We are together. And that's what we got going. We've got a live stream going on with no audio. So would you rather have no audio, or would you rather have no video? Which would actually make people turn away? No audio or no video? I've seen that argued like the cat chasing its tail, round and round and round. So I started off by saying there's two interesting things going on here. Number one, so we're going to start like this is the beginning. Okay, something warm, human, and wonderful happens. Peter sweats. We have an R6 in the house, and this camera doesn't get a whole lot of love, just like my microphone wasn't giving me a whole lot of love a minute ago. Okay, so this is the R6. We'll take a little tour of that. And the other thing is I've got something cooking in the oven. I'll explain it in a little bit. No, you won't get to see it. Well, actually, yes, you will. You'll get to see the one I made yesterday. But when the oven beeper beeps, I have it up loud. I'm going to make a mad dash to go turn the oven off, pull it out, and then come back in. But I will talk to you the entire time all along the way. So the interesting thing is we started off with no sound, and I didn't get flustered. I normally get flustered. So I guess I'm becoming where this is kind of like routine. So I'm guessing when I come over to say hello to everybody, I'm going to see a whole bunch of no sound, no audio. Oh, you see that little thing? It's sticking in front of my, this is sticking in front of my, there we go. Let's close that door and move the camera over just a little bit. Okay, go ahead, move over. That means I'm going to have to set this camera up again. Okay. So it was in the Nikon Z6. So the reason that moved, you'd say, well, Peter, if you don't move anything, what happened? Well, I had to get the R6 set up. So the casualty for tonight is the Olympus EM1 Mark II, because we are going to use the R6 in its place. And I've only got 4 cables of 4K, and I need one for here. So the Olympus is offline, so I moved the Sony over. As a matter of fact, that's a good segue to move into check and see if the Sony is actually online, if I push the right buttons, and there we go. There we be. Too tight. There it is. You can even see a little bit of, which hand? Wrong hand. You can even see a little bit of the softbox up in the corner. So let's see who's in the room. Let's see what's happening here. The first guy up is Tom Buck. And Tom, you look a little bit big. You look like you're going to cross the whole thing. So let's go back over here and bring Tom back in and see if it's better. Nope, it's not better. So that's 2. 3 and you're out. Okay. So let's exit this one out. Okay, my oven is beeping, and if I don't go right now, right away, it's gonna burn. Burn, baby, burn. But I'm gonna make it so you can hear me, okay? And I'm gonna talk to you all the way. I'm gonna run to the kitchen. There's a oven running at 450 degrees, so this is not something to be playing with or joke. So I have a temperature probe, and I have it set to, can you hear it beeping? Okay, that's why I left all the doors open. Okay, so now the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to kill the beep. Then I'm going to shut the oven off. Power is off, guys. Don't get excited. Power is off. You don't have to, okay, go back. You can sit down again. Power is off. Power is off. Okay. Oh, by the way, Tom, since you were the first guy up, I wanted you to know I was very impressed with that Wi-Fi HDMI camera that you got, but I was not able to find any links to it or anything. So now I'm pulling the oven drawer out. There we go. And I'm taking it. This is a very hot oven. I normally cook at 350. I don't cook at 450. It feels like it's almost dangerous, like one of those fire, fire in the hole type things with the barbecue. Okay, I'm putting it on the counter. Okay, and now I'm closing the oven door. This was actually scheduled to be finished at 9:30, but I guess for certain reasons it was not. Okay, that is done. Not ruin tomorrow night's dinner. It's all set up, and I'm walking back now, panting. But I was expected. I already explained that in the part with the audio off. So back to you, Tom. I could have taken a camera there with me and let everybody see what I was doing, but I couldn't find the link. So if you could email me at some point, I would appreciate that. And let's check and see. Yes, everything it seems to be going fairly good. Okay, so what problem was I having now? I was having a problem with this guy and not knowing why the most important part of the show is actually not functioning properly. So let's start deleting these. And let me see if I can figure this out. This is like a test. So if I was in Tom's class, he would be giving me a test now. And I would say, okay, fix this, Peter. And I would say, but Tom, I don't know how. And he'd have to say, well, this is part of the final exam, dude. Fix it. Get it back the way it's supposed to be. And I'd say, but Tom, you didn't even teach this in class. Tom's a teacher, guys, in case you're wondering what the heck is he talking about. So I'm finally getting to see his marvelous face. Good looking guy, huh? His class must have been very happy to have probably one of the best looking teachers in town. Okay, so let's lower this down and let's lock it in place and let's see if it holds. If I go back and forth and we go there and we go Sony and yes. Hi. All right. Hey, Peter. Sorry I couldn't make it last week. Hope for everything is good. I missed Heather's live thing today. I got in maybe 5 minutes after you closed out. So that's the way schedules are. What can I tell you? It's just tough sometimes. So now we're ready to rock and roll. All right. So we got all cameras up and ready. We're going to go with Simon, Ordinary Filmmaker. Do you see? I think I made the text bigger, and for some reason I made it too big. It didn't realize it. So hey there, buddy. Hope you're having a good day today. I thought I'd say hi in case I nod off later. Well, I kind of expect you to nod off. You have been staying up late and making all kinds of videos because it's been a very, very busy week. So it is not surprising to see you come and go. Okay. And so that is Simon. Simon has his channel, which you can go and see, of course. Simon has a son named Liam, and Liam just put up a video. Liam is 6 years old now, okay? And Liam has put up a video. It's called Planet Liam. Okay, and he was showing off his Legos, and of course Liam is the only 6-year-old that I know that sits in front of a Canon R6, has got a wireless microphone system, and he's just got a complete crew, and his mother is like telling him something on one side, his dad is probably the one that's directing him, and this 6-year-old kid, you know what? He handles all of it. It's just amazing. So I'm just getting a few comments down here, and then we're going to go and get started with the R6 because I think I'm excited and you're excited. It just came in day before yesterday, so it hasn't been here very long. So Simon is saying hi to Tom. Tom's channel is doing very well. Ray is in the house. Hi, Peter. How was your week? Is the Canon R6 in the building and connected to your camera family? And Tom is saying you too. Scott's saying, thank God it's Friday. The audio, that's what I was waiting for, to see. Everybody's going to tell me the audio is out. The audio is out. Now I know. I didn't know when you wrote this, obviously. Audio, no sound. That's Simon. Audio. Tom said no sound. Joe Martin says no sound. No audio, Peter. Randy says he got it. Randy realizes, he's been with me the whole time, so many of you have, that it just takes a few seconds. So I got my phone. We got a new microwave this year. No, I don't use microwaves because I'm one of those that are conspiracy theories that thinks that the microwaves destroy all the chemicals and enzymes and the living stuff in the food. So I don't use it. But the rest of the family, when they come and visit, they use it. And they do all kinds of stuff in it. I will use it in a dire emergency. So a dire emergency to me is, I need to clean the sponge. Okay, because the sponge gets bacteria, so I put it in a little dish, and I put water on it, and I put it in the microwave, and it sterilizes the sponge. I put it in for a minute and a half, and that makes it so I can't pick it up when I open the door. So that's my use for the microwave. Other people use their microwaves heavily. I don't run your house, just like you don't run mine. So that's just, that's the way it is. So why did I say that? So we got a new microwave, and I saved the old one, and I put it here. You can hear me open and close the door. Open, close. Okay. So I put my phones in. I cut the plug off. Okay, so that you can't plug it in. There's no wire back there. I took scissors and cut it off. And from there, I put my telephone, my wireless phone, and my cell phone, and the 2.8 gigahertz phone, I put it in there. So if anybody was trying to reach me to tell me that the audio is out, you're in the microwave. So I can't hear you. The corner of my eye would have to just catch right there and see, because there's a little window in the microwave. I'd have to see right there and go and see, oh, why is somebody calling me now? So all the phones are in the Mickey Wave. Okay, so Scotty is Danger Will Robinson. That's the robot from Lost in Space. Randy says maybe not. I got it. I realized it. Now, if I don't have sound now then I won't know what, how, when, where, why. All right. So Tom realized I got it. Randy realized I got it. Oh, you guys think alike. The same responses. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay. So shall we get to the R6? The interesting thing, this camera here is the R6. Let's see if I remember to put on the GH4. Yes, I did. So this is the R6. So this is what it looks like in my hands. It's a good size camera. Let me tell you something. If everybody's used to the little bodies that they're coming out with the Sonys and the other brands, and you're used to all these little cameras, okay, this is a full-size camera. This is the 50 millimeter lens, 1.8. It's the direct RF lens, and I will be putting it on the tripod in a moment. Okay, let's see. I did put the battery in there. So we will see here that it does come on. Comes up with a warning right away. Okay, so that's what it looks like with everything on in the background. So let me get out of the way so you can actually see something. That's the floor. That's, let's go over here. That's the Christmas tree, up and around. Okay, so that's what the camera looks like on the back side. This is what it looks like on the front side. It's got the depth of field button here. It's got the release for the lens on this side. It doesn't have any of the function buttons like the Sony has, and the R5 might have function buttons here. It should have 2 possibly. I'm pretty sure that the R3, when it comes out, will have 2. This is the connector so that I can put this on the tripod in a few seconds. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it this way and come to the top. Okay, and if I can get it so that there's no glare. All right, so we have a little wheel here, and this is the control, the mode. Okay, we've lost our ISO button here, but we have the shutter button up in the front, and we have a record button in the back. And I keep pushing buttons back here. I need to stop. Okay. All right, and this is the on and off switch over here. If I toggle this, I personally prefer the on and off switches here, but you Canon guys are used to it being here on the body in the back or over on the top. Okay, we've got the menu button on the back over here, and what is that? Rate. I'll have to look at that and see what that is. That looks like something that's a waste of space that you could probably assign to something else. You do have a joystick on this camera, which is remarkable, and you have your normal AF on and off that you can use here. You've got for your shutter, for your what type of focus system you're going to use, and then you have the focus lock. You have an info button, the quick screen button, so you can go to these menus quickly on and off. It is a touch screen. So if I touch here, it's going to follow. Can you see that? You see the little white box there? Let's see if I can get it. It's a bigger white box, okay? So many people will accidentally touch that with their knuckle, okay? And when they do, suddenly the camera starts to focus weird. So what do you do when that happens? You click the set button, and it'll revert, it'll turn that tap to focus. So if anytime I tap on this camera, okay, it goes to a tap to focus, all right, which means it'll track. So I don't think you could see it too well because of the glare. Yeah, unfortunately it's the glare, okay. So I have it, it's locked onto the red top there. You see something reddish over there? Okay. Do you see this red top right here? Okay, it's locked onto that red top. All right, so to turn that off, I call it knuckle focus. Okay, knuckle focus ruins more pictures than anything you ever wanted to see, because people will turn the camera like this, their knuckle accidentally will tap that, and now you are in focus tracking. And when you finally bring it up, you don't realize you're in focus tracking because that little white box goes off to the side, all right? And it's like hidden behind all this stuff, so you don't realize that you accidentally did knuckle focus, okay? See how it's following on the red cup now, that little white box? Okay, when it loses it, all right, you don't realize you're in focus tracking. So you hit the set button and it reverts back, all right? This is important, otherwise I wouldn't spend that much time. And the reason it's important is it ruins more movies and more pictures than practically anything other than forgetting to put a card in the camera or turning the camera on, okay? And of course, this has a flippy screen. I can pull this out, and it actually has a little notch here, which is very nice. A lot of cameras don't have a notch, and you're constantly digging in with your nails on the bottom or on the top. Okay, so this will flip out, and when I put it over there on the tripod in a second, I will be able to see myself. So right now, you're able to see whatever I'm pointing to. Let's find, that's the light, so that's going to blind that, okay? So, there's the stand, that's where it's going to go. All right, so that is like a little tour of the camera, all right? So let's put the camera up on the tripod. Let's switch this over to the Sony. Hi there. This is what it looks like in my hands. Okay, this is what it looks like in front of my face. Okay, it's a pretty good sized body. Okay, now I'm going to tap this and make sure. Actually, I'm going to do that after I mount it. You'll hear a click. All right, so I'm going to mount this camera now onto this tripod, and then I'll have to set it up when I actually plug it in. Okay, so it's locked in. Now I'm going to press the set key, and it puts me into face detection. Okay, then I'm going to come over here, and let's switch over to it. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to that one. I need to plug this into the HDMI port. That would help, wouldn't it? You think? You think it would help? Okay, so let's plug this in. All right. All right. So now we're actually looking at the R6. All right, so just one more quick second. Let me come over here and try to find the menu button. Okay. I'm going to change that. No card in the camera. Okay, so I set it so you can actually see the LCD screen. You could see the viewfinder, okay? So I'm going to stand here, and the camera needs to be turned a little bit. Now, in the meantime, while you're going like, oh, he's wasting my time, you could look and see this is what stuff you see on the viewfinder or the LCD screen. I'm turning this back over here. Okay, so you can see when it finds my face. Okay, you can see that probably needs to go over just a little bit more, but it's not bad. Let's see where the Sony is. That's like that. This comes in like here. Okay, so I need to look at the screen. I'm going to move it over just a little bit more. Okay, it's just a little bit still too far over. All right, now I'm in the center. All right, so you can see the tag. I got it R6. I've got the 50mm 1.8. You can see over here the battery. We're going to see how long the battery will last because this is not plugged into the wall. I don't have a battery thing in the wall. You can see some of the settings. Over to the left side, you can see I am 4K at 30p. You can see the K on the right side of the screen. I wish I could point to this. I can point to it, but you won't be seeing it. You can see the K. Look over on the right side of your screen. See where it says Canon R6, and start bringing your eyes down a little bit. Maybe I could do this. Yes, right there. Okay. Pull that out. Okay. That means I'm set to Kelvin temperature. So this is 2800 Kelvin temperature bulb. So I have it set to 2800. This over here is showing you that I have it set to natural. Okay. And this is straight out of the camera. I don't have anything at all changed. Down here you can see, if I can aim, the Wi-Fi is off. You can see what ISO I am. Class, pay attention. What ISO am I set to, class? This camera is set to ISO 400. I'm not letting it rise and lower and change. Okay, so the white balance is set, hard set manually. The ISO is hard set manually. If I can follow my fingers, you have to do everything backwards, which I'm not the only one, but everybody gets confused. The shutter is 1/60th of a second, which is right there. And over here, the lens is at f1.8, which this is the f1.8 lens, okay? So you can look around on the left side. Now the white box that comes in and goes out is the focus system. It's finding me. Now, like right now, it's actually finding an eye. So if I turn my face this way and come like this, it's gonna find the closest eye. If I just go head on, it's not going to know which eye is the closest eye. So if I just go like this, all right, it starts to look around. I'm going to do a video where I'm going to go through most of the initial changes. I'm going to reset the camera from the beginning. So when I turn it on, I will have to set the time, the date, that I'm on New York time, and all that. And I'm going to record all that and put that on the big channel for people that get the R6 they can kind of follow along and see some of the stuff that I do. Okay, so just while I have it now, give me a second. Let me lower this. Now this camera is about a foot closer. Let's see, trying not to mess things up. Is about a foot closer to me than the Nikon Z6. Yeah, see, I like just like a hand between my head and the top of the screen, because that puts my eyes pretty much on the 2/3, on these 2/3, because you got 2/3 going this way and you got 2/3 going this way. Okay, all right. So when I make a video for the big channel, I'm going to do the Christmas room walk of focus, which means I'm going to start over here, going to look at it. I will have this on so the people can watch or not. I'm going to have to go back and find out which way I do it. All right. So now I'm going to turn. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to stop and put my hands up like a surrender. Now you can watch it, see if there's a white box. I can't see it. You can, but I'm doing this so I could look later. Now I'm going to walk all the way to the back, okay, which is back here. Then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to see that the screen is black. Can anything else go wrong tonight, guys? I have no idea what is going on here. Like, what? Did the camera go to sleep? What did it do? Oh, that might be something I might have to change. Okay, the camera might have gone to sleep. Okay, let me shake your world up a second. Let me check and see up at the top. Yeah, I am in the movie mode, so if this camera keeps going to sleep over and over, I will have to go through the menus and find out where, how, why. Okay, so let's continue the walk of focus. Dear Lord Jesus, I need your help tonight. Yes, I do. Okay, so the walk of focus. I start over here, I stop. I put my hands up so you could see what it's actually being focused on. I can't see it because my back is facing to the camera. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to turn around, and surprise, the camera is on. Thank God. All right, now from here, let me put my glasses back on. It does seem to be finding my face all the way back here. So what is that? That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 feet away. Okay, and it seems to be finding my face. So now I'm going to walk up the side and come all the way up. Now I'm on the side, so I'm not in the center. Okay, and I'm going to turn to the wall, and this is where I go, how you doing, wonderful wall? I used to have a piano there. Now the piano is over there. Okay, so now I'm going to turn around and I'm going to walk back, and you were able to see something that I can't see yet. But when I go to bed tonight, I'm going to play this back so I can see. Okay, so this is how it finds focus. Now, do you notice when I put my glasses on that the white box it doesn't go for eye focus anymore? It actually goes for face detection, because glasses actually trip up. Okay, you guys that wear glasses, this is something you need to know, not for your own sake, but so that when you're actually videoing somebody or to that effect. So as soon as I put my camera on my face, meaning my glasses on my face, it loses the ability to find the eye focus. So it looks like it's jumping to it if I look directly at the camera, maybe if I get a little bit closer. So if I take a step back, that's something interesting. Okay, so if I come up a little closer where I'm closer to the camera and I look at it, it actually does find an eye. Okay, now if I do the same thing with my glasses off, it finds the eye, and if I come up here, it stays with the eye. It'll switch whatever the camera thinks is the closest eye. So now let's see how far before the sensitivity of the eye switches to a face detection instead of to goes to face detection instead of eye. So it looks like, let me put my glasses on. It looks like it's still on eye detection. Very good, Canon. That's a big improvement from the 90D and even the 1DX Mark III. The 1DX Mark III would lose the eye. Not too bad. So let's go all the way to the back. Okay, just out of curiosity. Just out of curiosity. Okay, so there's plenty. So it's still focusing on the eye and not the face. All right. So I'm thinking as soon as I put my glasses on, the R6 is going to actually switch to face detection. And it did. It's actually bouncing back and forth. So it actually locked onto an eye and it's keeping it. And now that it's getting closer, it switched over to face detection. So I don't know if this is interesting to you or not, but I figured I'd share it. This is some of the, the new things that go on with this camera. All right, so let's see if I've got this lined up well enough so we can kind of compare the cameras that we got going here. This will be a surprise for me and for you. Okay. Okay, so the camera needs to go a little bit more to the left, and then we can run and make it see all three cameras. I'll move this back in a second, but this is I didn't change this one. Okay. All right, so here we go. So you got the Sony S3 as on your right. Okay, you got the Nikon Z6 is in the middle, and even though this says Olympus EM1 Mark II, this is the cable. The HDMI cable is plugged into here now, and this was, I guess, one spot where I didn't change it. So the one all the way to your left is the Canon. So it keeps falling asleep. So I have one setting off on here, and all I have to do is come back up here and tap the shutter and get it to turn back on, but it should not be falling asleep. All right, so this is what it looks like. All right, so since I'm over here, let's go back and turn off all the gobbledygook on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to go to the A7 III. No, I'm going to go to the R6. R6, because I need to watch this on the screen. Okay, so when I hit the menu button, you're going to see the menu. Okay, there she is. All right, so now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to move it up, and I'm going to press set, and okay. All right, so now we actually have the camera, and it doesn't have the, okay. I was going to say, I can't see the white box. Okay, I'm going to hit the set button in case I knuckle tap that LCD screen while I was just fiddling with it, because from the back side, I can't tell. But that's a good example of how you can accidentally knuckle focus and not realize it. One of the best examples of knuckle focus is by our good friend Tony Northrup. He got the A7C, and he wanted to turn the camera around from himself, which he was vlogging or whatever it is. It's like, hi there, how you doing? And he wanted to turn around and put it on his wife Chelsea. Okay, so as he was turning it, his pinky tapped it, and then the focus wouldn't work. And he was going like, well, I guess the focus on this camera is not up to par like the A7 Mark III. Okay, it insists on focusing on the tree instead of on my wife's face. That's because the camera was told to do that by the little pinky that he tapped it with. He said it, and he didn't realize that, and nobody did. Okay, but because this has happened to me over and over, I saw it happen. And I'm going like, doofus, you told it to focus on the tree. Why are you complaining? But the point is, just like I didn't realize I didn't have the audio a couple of minutes ago, he didn't realize that he had changed the focus point on the camera. So this is the R6 in all its glory. And let's see if I can go back to the triple view here. And there, we've got three people. Okay, so obviously the colors are different. Remember, EM1 Mark II is the HDMI cable that I unplugged from the Olympus, which is right behind it. Okay, so it's really the R6. I would try to fix it, but you know, every time I do this stuff, I screw it up, so I'm not. Okay, so the first panel on your left is the R6. Nikon, you're in the middle, and the Sony A7S Mark III is on the left. So let's do the hand thing. Okay, Nikon is still the slowest processor. I would say the Sony and the R6 are pretty close to each other. Okay, so on the R6, which is the camera on your left, all right, the one on your left that says Olympus is not the Olympus. It's the Olympus cable that plugs into the HDMI port into the Mac Mini M1 computer, which is running this whole show. Okay, so that cable is plugged in, but it's still got the label Olympus. So actually, I did try to go through and correct all of them. One of them slipped past me, okay? So I'm just going to say it over and over, don't get bored. The first one on your left is not the Olympus, it's the Canon R6, all right? So this is what they look like, the three of them side by side. The Canon R6 definitely has a reddish looking tint to it. Of course, when I fine tune it, I'm going to make it so they all look very similar, and there's a reason for that. You know, that's so that one camera doesn't actually just completely look out of line. Now let's see if this is working. All right, so now this is all 4 cameras. Okay, now you should be able to figure this one out, guys, all by yourselves. Okay, the top left is the Sony A7S III. All right, and the reason you should be able to figure that out, it's the only camera that's on that side of the room. So it's actually showing you the piano, full force and stuff like that. All the other cameras are dead smack in front of me. So the top right is the Nikon Z6 and the Sony ZV-1, the little $750 job, down is on the bottom right. Okay, and the, what are we missing? The R6 is in the bottom left. So the R6, the quick way to see it is the one where I'm looking away than all the other 3 cameras. That's the Sony S3, because it's the only camera that's on the other side of the room. Okay, it's on the other side of a 40-inch monitor TV. All right, so when I face it, all right, I'm actually facing that camera, and the other 3 look different. So when I face these 3 cameras, they look the same, and that one looks different. Bam! You found the S3. All right, the top one right there is the Nikon, and that's by deduction. Okay, the bottom left is red. It's got a reddish tint, so that's the R6. And you can see a little bit of the softbox over there, and that's the ZV-1, and the depth of field on the ZV-1 is very, very large. So you could see clearly back there, and, excuse me, and me, we're all in focus. So by the power of deduction, that's how we found it. So that's what they look like, all 3 of them. And each of you guys are looking on something different. Some of you are looking on Safari. So, oh, let's do this. The Nikon processor is still slower, so it sends it out the door. You wouldn't know this unless you had a panel like this, so you could see which one is using its internal processor the most. Okay, so this is what we've got with the 4 panel, and then from here I'm going to go to a full out view of the Canon R6. Okay, this camera is $2,500. It's got the flippy screen. It doesn't have 8K, but it's got 4K. I am set to 4K 30p. Let's just double check and make sure that this stream is 4K 30p. Somebody can double check me. I think we're set at 1080. By golly, good golly, Miss Molly. Let me come over here and look, okay? Yeah, this whole stream is sent to 1080 at 30 frames per second high quality. So I don't know why. Let's see how many people we got in here. We got 24 people. So I was going to kill the stream and come back up in 4K because the title is that we are in 4K. and I'm not in 4K. Why? I have no idea. Oh, we just did an update 3 or 4 days ago. It's supposed to hold all the settings. Randy, don't get on my case. Okay, so anyway, we're all set to 4K, except for Ecamm Live. It happens to be set for 1080. All right, so this is the R6. This is what it would look like if you only had one camera. All right, and this is with no corrections at all. All right, so this is a close-up of the same camera. There's no setting changes except that I brought the crop in on this particular view or scene. If you're used to running Ecamm, you know that we've got the scene that is each camera is in a different scene. Okay, so. Oh, that's another one I forgot to change. All right, it says Olympus. It's not the Olympus. This is the R6. Hello? Bells, whistles, lights, ambulance sirens, police sirens. Okay, this is the R6. It's using the HDMI cable that the Olympus EM1 Mark II was connected to. So I don't know why that one was able to slip, okay, because I changed this one. They're right next to each other on my button board over there, okay. So I got little buttons which I can change cameras. So I went through and I thought I changed them all, but obviously I didn't. So when Tom grades my paper, that one gets an X, another one gets an X, okay. So where I thought I did great on this test, I aced it. I did amazing. And then I get a B. Like, why did he do that to me? He didn't do that to me. That's what's on my paper. I incorrectly said it. All right, so I can't hold the camera anymore. Now you're looking at it. All right, so let's do the walk of focus without all the stuff going on and being sent by the HDMI. So I'm going to turn around, take a step. Don't shoot. It's me. Don't shoot. And then I'm going to go to the back. Okay, I'm going to leave my glasses on, which means I'm making it harder for the camera. All right, but it should be focused on me. All right, and now I'm going to walk back up, but I want to walk a little off to the side of the frame. Okay, a little bit under the side. I'm still looking at the camera, but I'm going to stop now. I'm going to turn my whole body so it really doesn't know where to focus now. Okay, so we'll see how good their algorithm is. I'm actually standing here looking and talking to a wall instead of anything else. Now I'm used to pretending in my mind that I could see you out in the audience. But now I see a wall and I'm getting discombobulated. So I'm going to turn around and I'm going to face the other wall. Oh, that is a lovely wall. I have a piano, I have a wreath, there's lights on the wreath. I got a little tree going round and round. And now I'm going to turn back and I'm going to walk back up to the desk. So this is what I call the walk of focus. Fuji cannot accomplish that properly. The Panasonic, all of them cannot accomplish it properly. The Canons do well, but not as well as the Sonys. The Sony gets it 9.9 or 9.8 times out of 10. Okay, so while we think that dual pixel autofocus is the best that there is, okay, I hate to tell you, Sony's right up there with them and has surpassed them. All right, so now Canon does have a quad pixel autofocus coming out. So instead of using a single pixel to do two, okay, jobs, I don't know what it's going to do. It's either going to take 2 pixels or 4 pixels and have it do 2 jobs. Dual pixel doesn't mean that it's cutting the pixel in half. Okay, let me make that clear. A lot of people have promoted that dual pixel means the pixel is cut in half. Dual pixel means the same pixel does 2 jobs. It's a dual purpose pixel. Okay, and what makes it different than all the other focus systems, the dual pixel, which is what you're watching here, is that when it is not being used for autofocus, see, it's focusing on my face. It's not focusing on the tree. It's not focusing anything else. Okay, so all those pixels are actually gathering light. The only pixels that are being turned on right now to focus is the ones that are doing the job for the face. So as I move my face over to the one side or the other, it has just turned off all these pixels over here that it was used for focus, and now it turned them on over here. And if I step back over here, it's called the slide, the electric slide, okay? It will turn on these pixels, and it will actually use these to focus. So what's the advantage? The advantage is on the Sony system, okay? If I go over to the Sony system, all right, now it's using phase detection autofocus, all right? It is phase detection over on the R6 also, but let me tell you what the difference is. This sensor right here has phase detection autofocus points all over the sensor, okay? They always are used for focus detection. They never switch over to go for the light, even though right now this camera is actually focusing and using the detection points for the face. It's not focusing on the wreath, it's not focusing on the tree back there, it's actually focusing on the face, and it's using those phase detection points. But the other ones are still not gathering light. They haven't joined the party as a sensor that's bringing in the whole picture. That's why you get to hear about banding here and there. All right, so when I switch over to this camera operates differently. It only actually focuses with the focus points in my face, and everything else is now collecting light as if there was no focus points there, okay? That's the difference between dual pixel autofocus and phase detection on the other systems. All right, this is also the same reason that you'll get Panasonic come up and saying, we give you a better picture because we have no phase detection points on our sensor. There's no little holes all over the sensor that are being used. So our picture is better than anyone else's. That's their strength because they can't focus well with the contrast detection. It has not caught up with what phase detection can do. Okay? All right, so enough on that. I'm going to switch gears for a second. No, I'm going to switch gears and change the topic, but it's still on the R6, and it's something that's very interesting and surprising. Okay? So, I made bread yesterday or the day before. So the camera came in late in the afternoon. I put the battery on to charge, which I can't see the battery anymore because I turned it off. Okay, so when this goes black and I can't get it to wake up again, the battery will have died. Okay, or the camera will have overheated. I won't know which. And I don't know how to figure out which. Simon, if you're still there, how do I know if the camera overheated or not? I can't see anything. The viewfinder, the LCD is off, and I don't have anything coming up on the big screen. So, here's where I'm going now. Don't get bored. Don't just get bored and just sit back and go, oh, I heard everything. No, you're going to hear something more interesting than all this stuff I've just told you about this camera. All right? I've been in digital cameras since 2000 when the Canon D30 came out. So, and I bought almost all of them. The D30, the D60, the 10D, 20D, 30D, 40D. I missed the 50D and 60D and went to the 70D, 80D, and 90D. So there's maybe 3 at the very end that I didn't get into. I own the 1DX, I'm sorry, the 1D, the 1D Mark II, the 1D Mark IIN, the 1D Mark III, the 1D Mark IV, which is a very nice camera, the 1DX, and I've never actually owned the 1DX Mark III. So am I showing off by telling you that? No, I'm telling you that so that you know. I know how the Canon cameras work. I know what they feel like, all right? So yesterday I decided, and even today, just to start taking pictures while I was cooking and stuff, just to see what the pictures look like. And let me tell you something. This sucker takes some really beautiful looking pictures. Really world-class pictures. They're very rich. It's got that Canon look. It's hard to beat the Canon look. Okay, so I'm taking pictures. Okay, so I've got the camera in my hand, that one, the R6. It's full of flour because I was making bread. I got flour prints all over the camera. I had to bring it in here and blow it out. Okay, so I took some pictures, not video. Not video. Don't get excited, Peter. Just talk calm like a grown-up guy, okay? I wasn't shooting video. I was shooting pictures. And I had the camera set to take pictures both in RAW plus JPEG. RAW because that's the way I normally roll. I shoot in RAW. I'm not interested in the JPEG. But just in case for some reason I needed the JPEG, I also set it on the single card, one card only, a V90 card. I set it to take small JPEGs. I would basically do that at a wedding. I would shoot with the main card as RAW, and I have a second card kind of like as a Hail Mary card. All right, so the Hail Mary card is small JPEG. That means, God forbid, something happens and I lose the backups, I lose the card, I lose everything, I still have the Hail Mary card. So that's what's being recorded to the SD card that's in that camera, okay? And I put it down after I took some pictures, and I was playing with the bread and stuff like that, okay? And after I finished playing with the bread, I picked up the camera to take more pictures. The camera was exceedingly warm. I mean, how do I explain how warm the camera is so I can get it across to you? It was warmer than any other DSLR that I have ever picked up, right off the counter, okay? And I haven't taken any videos yet. And I picked it up. You know how warm it was? Since I was cooking, I'll give you a cooking analogy. It was warm like when you go to touch something that's in the oven, you kind of like test it to see, is this warm enough to burn me or hot enough to burn me? Or is it just fine? And I could just pick it up. It's just quite warm. Okay, well, it invoked that kind of a reaction from my brain mentally. My brain decided to do this. Okay, in other words, it was warm enough where I jumped back so I wouldn't get burned. Now, it wasn't the proper reaction. I didn't say you have to do this. Okay, I'm just saying when I pick up something near the barbecue outside or in the oven, you know, and it's like right on the borderline where, yeah, I can hold that. That's the warm I was feeling, and it was everywhere. That was like, Canon should never let a camera like that out the door. It goes to show you, not you, but it goes to show me they don't have the smarts to know how to deal with that. So we are the guinea pigs until they get that under control, because I can't see the camera the way it is at a meeting in the big Canon you know, office in the sky in Japan, and they're holding these cameras and they're exceedingly warm. Okay, this is not a complaint. This is not a don't buy the camera. This is not a slap on the hand of Canon. I'm just trying to express to you that this camera is the warmest camera I have ever picked up in the 20 some odd years that I have been using digital cameras. Okay, I have never felt a warmer camera. I know I'm holding an Olympus, okay guys? I know that. I'm talking to the Canon, all right? I just feel better holding the Olympus. I'll put it down so it doesn't confuse somebody that watches this later. Why is he holding an Olympus? And he's talking about Canon. Okay, I put it down, okay? So the camera is warm. Is it a deal breaker? Absolutely not. The only thing it tells me is I can't see the powers that be in the Canon meeting executive suites where they have meetings and stuff, and that not come up at a meeting. And someone had to make a command decision. That's just the way it is. We're sending it out the door until we find out how to do better. Okay, so that's telling me Canon doesn't have the ability, doesn't have the smarts, doesn't have the engineering, you fill in the right words, to actually manhandle that heat. I was truly surprised at how warm the body was. Am I knocking the camera? No, not at all. Don't even get that impression. I am very impressed with this camera. This camera is like at the top of the heap. It doesn't get the love it deserves. That's how good it is. The camera deserves a lot more love, especially since it's what, 1,000 and $1,300 cheaper than the R6. So if you don't need to actually use the 8K and the high quality 4K, then I would say the R6 is a no-brainer. It's a full-size camera. When I put the lenses on, I got 3 lenses with it. The one that's on there now, you can see what it is right there, okay? And I got 2 Samyoungs because some people can buy the camera and they can't afford to buy the lenses. The lenses are so expensive. So I got 2 RF mounts, Samyoungs, a 14mm 2.8. I'll be making videos with this on the big channel. And the 85mm 1.4, they are autofocus lenses, okay? And they're $600, $700, $800 lenses. And I used today the 14mm 2.8, okay? And in a little bit, I'm going to show you pictures and stuff. All right, so this is basically the big surprise of the camera. I have a hard time in my mind going through the process that they would let a camera out the door that gets so warm that it doesn't hurt you in any way, okay? But it surprises you when you go to pick it up. And this is with pictures. And then I did maybe 15-second, 30-second videos of me making the bread. I'm going to try and show you that stuff in the second hour, which we're coming up. All right, so this concludes my little talk on the R6 for this part, and we're going to go into question and answer. But we're going to end this show right now and then come right back. No time in between, okay? Going to come right back and come back in 4K because that's what I intended to be doing. I intended to be doing this in 4K. All right, so I'm going to sign out and sign right smack back in. All right, Peter Gregg, Miami, Florida. Catch you later. Whoosh.